Response video to Renetto. Made 2 videos. It's a response to at least one of them. I don't even know if I'll bother with the other one. It's really gotten kind of silly, but you know, I was thinking about the movie Apocalypse Now. You know, I love the smell of, you know, napalm in the morning, and I'm just like, yeah, this is like the smell of desperation is in the air. And so I got to feel good about that. I mean, when people go to this length to undermine your credibility, you know, we'll attack the philosophy by pulling the hair off his ass. You know, yeah, so I win. I mean, it's just, yeah, slam dunk, bang, game over. Well, it's not over, of course. It's, you know, you haven't fixed anything. It's true. So anyway, the irony of it all is, you know, these last 2 videos, I wish I could save these Ning videos. Maybe I'll just save the audio. But they're really monuments. I mean, you know, here he's making videos talking about how he's this great character builder, and the great, the thing his children are going to, you know, inherit from him is this wonderful perspective. And, you know, I mean, if my father made such a video, I would be pretty damn embarrassed. I mean, my father said some fucktarded things. I mean, we all say some pretty stupid things. But, yeah, these last 2 videos, Renetto, I mean, come on. You know, really. You're gonna, well, what you'll do or what you won't do is another, we won't even go there. Forget it. Okay. Done. Alright, so anyway, apparently the game is this competition thing, and the measure of a man is how much money how many people have you exploited and how much money have you gleaned, and that's how we measure a man. And apparently, if I was to, you know, if I took money from my father, I would be a credible person all of a sudden, because I took some money, you know, because I just said, yes, give me money, and then I'd be a credible person. And it's just so funny, you know, that's how it works in your perspective, from your point of view. I mean, I got this vision that you would probably run in a race against a one-legged man, and you would celebrate your victory. You know, I could just see you crossing the finish line, you know, bam, and you're just like, whoa, and in your face, you know, because you beat a one-legged man. Yeah, well, look, some people just aren't going to be able to. I mean, the whole argument you're making that somehow the way to beat the system, you know, is to be part of the system and then use what you gained from being part of the system to undo the system. And I'm sure that ran through my mind. I mean, you watch the James Bond villains and you say, yeah, well, you know, money, you can really fuck up the world. If you got some money, you can change things. And so maybe you have to play the game. But, you know, whatever. As a practical matter, you know, I can't do it that way. Couldn't do it that way. I did have some opportunities to play the game that way, and I couldn't. So, but we won't, like I said, you want to keep making this some sort of whatever between personalities and individuals, and you know, we can't argue economic theory without somehow, you know, beefing up and flexing our personal muscles. Well, fuck that shit. Alright, I don't know where else to go with this. I mean, you know, I'll try to keep this video short, but who the hell knows where it's going to go. The popcorn eaters and the, you know, peanut brainless gallery, you know, watching. You know, who knows what they're in the mood for. You know, a long movie or a short one. Little, you know, some Milton Berle, or shall we give them, you know, a full-length Drew Carey movie or something. Whatever. So the title of your video was interesting, you know, quoting the Bible, because, you know, I could just throw the line at you: the odds of a rich man getting into the kingdom of God are those of a camel going through the eye of a needle. So you're pretty much fucked, you and your spawn. But anyway, I don't believe in the Bible, so it's not exactly rhetoric I have any intention to applying to you. Where else to go? Yeah, okay, that's good. So we'll go to his video and play a couple of little clips, and I'll try to keep it short, just get to the pertinent parts.
Have you ever noticed that this guy is the smartest person he's ever met? I mean, even when presented with the facts. That's
yeah, well, I guess I am the smartest person I've ever met. But, it's not my fault. Do better, people. Then I'll be impressed. But you're not very impressive, Renetto, with the same argument again. All right, you're saying that every other economic theory, every other economic approach has been tried and failed. We've tried to change the rules before, and it's never worked. So the rules have to stay exactly where they are, because any other changes to the rules have never worked, and it's been proven throughout history, even though history is a progressive thing where all kinds of circumstances change. It's like saying democracy has been there, done that, even though now we have the capacity to vote electronically and do all these different things, and we don't have to vote locally, and even though the whole ball game has changed, and it doesn't take a week to get from Pennsylvania to New York and all this other shit, no, nothing's changed. Everything's been tried and failed in the past. In the ignorant world that didn't even know what a bacterium was. Yes, okay, sorry. That's just a bullshit argument. So we'll go up to 238 here. I don't much care for the way this... You can't tell what time it is until you get to the time. But,
I mean, that's not a straw man argument. I mean, that really is who I am. That's what I'm about. But apparently not him. So what I want to know from the two of you, what have you done? How much food have you put in the mouth of a starving child?
Well, look, I could make all kinds of equations. I have converted a few people to being vegetarians, so I guess I've saved some food, and I've saved it so therefore it's got cheaper, and so now there's people eating food that they wouldn't have been eating before. I could make some kind of dopey argument like that. But it's sort of like, okay, you could have asked Dr. Ehrlich, when he was 5 years into his cure for syphilis, well, what have you done? And he'll say, well, I've spent a big giant pile of money injecting shit into animals and failing. That's what I've done. But then you ask him 5 years later, and he won the game, you see? So you can't tell till the end of the game. The game ain't over till the fat lady sings. So maybe they'll write big, fat, stupid, dumb, fucking, fucktarded failure on my gravestone. Maybe that's my destiny, okay? But I'm still in the game, and so we'll see how it plays out. We'll see what's written on who's where. But whatever. Okay, we'll jump ahead a little bit. Just a little. There we go.
This guy screams and yells about, calls workers slaves, because he himself is a slave. He thinks like a slave, therefore he is a slave.
Well, whatever. What I'm a slave to is somebody else's imposition, their silly notion, okay? Somebody decides, oh, let's have kids, and let's do this, and let's play this little stupid game. And, I was injected into a world that even a 5-year-old at the time could look out the window and say, this is really fucktarded. I mean, come on. And then with every observation, with every little bit he picked at apart, he'd say, man, this just gets dumber and fucking goddamn dumber. I mean, animals eating each other, fucking humans hating each other. What the fuck are you all doing just so you can all turn into skeletons in the end? Just stupid bones in the ground. For what? Chasing I want. I mean, it only took a couple of Christmases to figure out the racket. It's Christmas. And then 3 days later, it's like, well, let's start writing up the list for next year. I mean, our psychology is like, I was aware of the fact that I was an asshole right from the beginning, and that this being an asshole wasn't something I chose to be. It's the very nature of this fucking jackass system we're in. So you want to applaud it, fine. I'm a slave to the idea that this is really, really fucking dumb. And the way we're doing it is even double dumb. We can't even do the dumbness in a sensible, rational way. Alright, moving on. 4 minutes. Sorry about the delays, but this is the way the system works.
Themselves because everything's so bad. I mean, unless I'm mistaken, he made a video tonight where he said he wants to euthanize himself like a dog.
yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I just don't have. I'm not in this game. Okay, I'm not playing. All right, I'm observing, and I'll point out the obvious, and I'll point out even the more complex about how the system's working, and yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll editorialize, but I'm not invested in this game. The only thing I'm invested in is the idea that consciousness is still trapped in the game, that I don't really get to escape. I mean, this personal escape, but the rest of these victims will keep being created. There'll be some more people for you to suck the life out of, you know, and that's the tragedy, and that's the tragedy I'm trying to prevent. And so you can say I'm wasting my time. That's go ahead. That's your opinion. But I don't have any reason to take your opinion seriously. None whatsoever. Especially when we see the character, the depth of your argumentation.
In a certain way, and they can whine and moan and complain and say the system doesn't care about me, and instead they make something of themselves. That's really inspiring. That's really inspiring. You just make me want to kill myself.
Yeah, well, you know, good. I'll work on it. It's a little harder. You know, yeah, the disabled getting caught up in the game. But if I want to describe something, you're going to say, "Oh, that's so, you know, inspiring that they would overcome their disabilities." But the other end of that spectrum is there's blind people playing golf. I mean, you want the definition of pitiful? That's pitiful. The Special Olympics. You want the definition of pitiful? That's the definition of pitiful. Let's contrive. Let's oblige them to participate exactly how we participate, even though it's rather ludicrous and imbecilic. You know, and then we'll, you know, I mean, you know, so whatever. You know, we both have a different definition of pitiful, obviously. Okay, moving onward.
Let's not get into me, okay? I'm a bad guy. I'm one of those guys that buys a yacht and thinks of nothing but myself. But you know better. See, I sleep at night because I'm a self-centered son of a bitch. I sleep at night really good. The nepotistic bastard that I am, just making sure me and mine have a lot. But you, how do you live with yourself, knowing all the answers, knowing how we could feed the poor and how we could, it's really easy to implement. It's just a couple of little things we could do here. Why aren't you running for office somewhere? Oh, because the system's rigged.
No, that's not the reason. Well, actually, I probably will be on the ballot this year, just because, you know, I'll play the game. You know, and I've done what I've done. You know, I've filed lawsuits and played some other games with the local government, you know, to try to keep them honest and do my little part. But whatever, like I said, you want to get into some sort of, you know, whatever, pissing contest there, that's the more polite way to put it. You know, who's more of a man, who's more of a this, who's more of a that. Fuck you. You know, that's a waste of my time. So what else was it? I don't know what happened to the creating wealth line, but yeah, you had this thing in there like you're creating wealth. Again, you just don't get it. You don't create wealth. No, you extract it.
Aren't you out making money to give to the poor?
Because I'm not that dumb. I'm not dumb enough to think that that's the way you live your life. Okay, you steal from them in the dark, and then you give it back to the little tiny bit of it to them back in the daylight. That's sort of like what the king did. He'd steal everybody's stuff, and every now and then he'd give them a puppy. And he'd say, see, look, I gave you a puppy. And, you know, they'd get all happy because they have a puppy. Okay, and you're playing the same game. You're saying, okay, yeah, you should, you know, rape them, and then you can have money to build the rape counseling center. You know, so fuck that. No, I don't think so. I'll pass on that one.
The rich people already have it, and I'm born with a handicap, and I'm afraid of things.
Yeah, so that's the depth of your understanding of some psychiatric condition. So, you know, that's why the homeless are on the street, right? It's because they're just assholes. They're not sick. They're just assholes, and you can make fun of them and do your little thing. And so that's the depth of character again. That's the character building you're doing in your children. Are you teaching them to mock people with sicknesses and illnesses. Is that the game, Renetto? Okay, and we got it. I had my suspicions and you validated them. Thank you very much. Maybe you could put on some blackface to do the next video.
You're victims. And you spend your life crying about how you're victimized, and you try...
No, I don't think I do that. I talk about economic theory and how the economy works. I couldn't give a fuck about my circumstances. Couldn't give a goddamn. I don't need any of this shit, okay? I've eradicated ambition and desire, all right? I don't live for that shit, okay? I live for principles, and I live for mechanics. It's like curing the disease, not treating the symptoms. I understand I'm a symptom. My desire is a symptom. All right, my ambition is to change the structure of the disease, the whole organism, to fix that. All right, sopping up blood isn't my ambition.
I convince other people that they're victimized as well.
Well, however they perceive it. I'm not trying to make them think like a victim. I'm trying to just make them aware that we have this system that's really, really broken, and that we can fix it by just changing a few things. It's not that fucking complicated. Alright, we'll jump to the last little bit here.
Whining and complaining and making excuses and crying that the sky is falling, and get off your fucking lazy asses and do something about it. If you really believe it.
Yeah, again, so that's more of your demonstration that's how a person with character describes a circumstance. So he just throws out a word like lazy. It doesn't have anything to validate that with. You're not going to find it, Renetto. You're not going to find any part of my life that goes together where you're going to find an equal sign in the word lazy. Idiot, asshole, failure, you might find those words, but lazy isn't going to fucking work. But whatever. I mean, you want to say I'm nothing because I don't have your money and therefore I'm not playing in this game the way you think I should. You can say that, but I think your whole overreaction, this whole nonsense, idiotic video you just made, this character assassination, demonstrates that I'm much more effective than you'd like me to be. That's for sure. You wouldn't need to react like this. I mean, if there was some asshole saying something, there are people all the time make a response video to me, and they make no argument. They're feeble little nonsense argument. I don't feel any need to have to destroy them because it's meaningless. It's so weak. So it's obviously the strength of my argument that has you paranoid enough to reach for your you pulling out your AK-47. You didn't go for the goddamn little air gun or the BB gun. You're trying to pull out the big guns because you have to try to annihilate my character. You have to annihilate the messenger because you're afraid that the message has some bite. And so I'm glad I got to you. And we'll do it some more. Fuck you, of course. I gotta throw that in there. Fuck you. That's the end of this video. I'm gonna hit the button now.